Please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. You may be seated. Supervisor Bittinger is out of town at a work conference and was not able to join us this afternoon, so it'll just be the four of us. First item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda, and I would move that.
Second.
Motion by Nelson, seconded by Dietrich. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Passes 4-0. Items 2 through 6 constitute a consent agenda of routine action items to be considered by one motion. Items pass unanimously unless a separate vote is requested by a board member. Number 2, approval of the minutes of the January 20, 2026 meeting. Number 3, approval of claims. Number 4, County Auditor Michelle Scaff received the County Recorder's report of fees collected. Number 5, from Human Resources, Melissa Thomas. Item A is approval of a memorandum of personnel transactions. And item B is the authorization to initiate the hiring process. Item 6 from Secondary Roads Lower Receivers is approval of permit to work in the county right-of-way for Lindsay Washburn. I would move the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion by Nelson, seconded by Dietrich. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Passes 4-0. We are a little bit ahead of our 4:35 set time, so we will jump to item 8 in the Civil Service Commission, Lloyd Trout. Lloyd, come on up.
I have copies if you want me to hand them up, or do you have them?
I don't know if we have that in the backup. It's in the backup, okay. I think we're good. It's in our backup.
All right. On
Okay.
behalf of my
Kent would have one, so I'll move to receive.
Second.
Motion by Nelson, seconded by Dietrich. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Pass 4-0. We'll take those. He doesn't have one, so.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, on behalf of my fellow Civil Service Commission members, present you with these we had a number of applicants for new hire. We had 12 in the last year. The number of tests administered were 5 actual tests. We had 7 lateral and 1 tested elsewhere and provided the certification scores. There had 5 applicants on the new hire list. We had 6 for promotional tests. We had 6 that tested for lieutenant and 9 for sergeant. Same number that had requested them tested. So the 5th item is the number of lateral transfers requested, or 7. And we had 0 grievances filed for violations of civil service protections or types and resolutions. Number of informal queries conducted of personnel to ensure compliance with the rules and regulations of the Sheriff's Office policy. We had 0. That's pretty much for our year. We're getting started now with 2026. We did want to acknowledge and thank Josh Woodman for his assistance with legal advice on doing our testing, and it made it more efficient and fair so that we can eliminate people that shouldn't have tested and add people that should, and it made it very, very helpful. So we want to thank Josh for that. So that's all we have, unless you have questions.
Any questions for Lloyd or the Civil Service Commission? Well, thank you, Lloyd, Charlie, and Glenn for serving. Appreciate you guys doing that. Appreciate it very much.
There was one more thing I wanted to, and I forgot. We have started meeting out at the new building on the north end of town, although Lisa still has her small office and all the files in the old building over here.
Sure.
Just so you're aware of it, but we are meeting out there now every
Great.
quarter. So,
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, well, it is 4:35, so we will go back to item 7. Board Administration, Heather Van Sickle, and it is the public hearing and sale of property parcel ending in 3004, AKA 312 Judd Street. So at this time, I would open the public hearing for anybody who wants to speak for or against the sale of this property. I need that top page.
Seeing no one coming forward, I move to close the public hearing.
Second. Motion by Dietrich to close the public hearing, second by Nelson. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Carries 5-0, or 4-0, excuse me. Okay, now we'll open up the bidding process. Anybody that would like to bid on this property, please come up and state your name for the record. It looks like the total minimum bid is $716 plus recording fees.
Alex Zimmerman, and I'll bid the minimum bid $716.
Thank you. Is there anybody else that would like to bid on this property?
Well, seeing no one, I move to sell this property to, was it Alec or Alex?
Alan.
Zimmerman?
Or Alex, okay, I'm sorry.
Zimmerman for $716.
Okay. So a motion by, I'll second that. Motion by Dietrich to sell the property to Alex Zimmerman for $716, seconded by Nelson. Any discussion on that? All those in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Carries 4-0. If you would follow Heather, she can take care of you. Thank you. All right, item 9 from Human Resources, Melissa Thomas. Discussion of exemptions to the mobile device management policy.
Melissa Thomas, HR Director. So this policy was passed last fall by the board, and basically what it does is it says that all employees approved to use their personal use mobile device accessing county organizational data must be enrolled in the mobile application management solution, which what that does, it helps IT manage the applications on the phones. So also within this policy, it notes that hourly employees are not eligible to do this, to put this on their own phone. And due to the fact that if you do check your, emails after work, 5 minutes, 15, whatever it would end up being, that is compensable through FLSA. So that is one of the reasons why that part is in this policy. So when it went into effect the end of December, we started getting phone calls regarding, different situations where, yes, I have this hourly employee, but, they also need to access their emails because they're not in an office setting like a lot of employees are. So that's what this conversation is about. And also I wanted to mention, something came to light where sometimes if you have your own phone and there's information that's requested regarding FOIA request, and I've also talked to Josh about this, that phone you might have to hand over so that they can look through your emails, which I'm not sure, a lot of employees would want their phone to be put through that. So that's just one other thing that we need to, consider as we're working through this.
Yeah, so originally we had this on as an action item. We have 3 different departments that have hourly employees that need access, mobile access to their email. We have some in secondary roads, some at conservation, some with the sheriff's office. And so we had gotten a list of employees from those departments that need this exemption, but then we got to talking last week, and between Joshua and Melissa and I, we figured out pretty quick that we can't have employees that are off the clock accessing their emails, otherwise
Right.
the county would have to pay them for that time, and that's something that we simply can't afford. And so we wanted to just bring this as an information. Melissa is working on, there's other cities and counties that have policies just like this, and so she's working on something that would be similar, and then we'll bring that back in the next couple of weeks, and then we can approve that policy, and then if the board would like, we can approve the exemptions. And I see we have 2 department heads here that have staff that need those exemptions, and if they want to talk about that, they sure can too. But we're just trying to make sure everything's covered and
Yeah, work
protected,
through it.
so.
Sure.
Dan Heisel, Director, Woodbury County Conservation. In our department, it's not always about after hours. Our employees aren't in the office. They're out in the field. So it's not just email. Our organizational calendar is through Outlook. So all our reservations, all of our naturalist schedules are on that. So if they're out at the school, they're out in the park, they're trying to check their calendar because they've been requested for a program. They can't do it, or if they need to check an email for a time, it's not there. So I don't foresee it being a problem after hours because I can't see my employees sitting there reading their email after hours. But this is, for us, our hours are not standard. We don't work 8 to 4. Our naturalists work weekends. They work nights. Our rangers, assistant resource managers, and technicians work nights and weekends. So they're not, and when they're out in the parks, as you understand, they're not sitting in front of a computer like if I'm in the courthouse or in my office. 80% of my time is sitting in front of a computer. So didn't realize this when that policy was going through. I understood putting it on our phones, but I didn't catch the non-exempt, and it's just a big hassle for us. And so that's why we're hoping that you support it and work with Joshua to figure something out. And I know I've talked to Melissa and you about it, Mark, but I just wanted to go on record that this isn't for after hours for us. This is 99.9% of the time our work schedule, and we don't have a normal work schedule all the time. So, but if for some reason they have to check an email because somebody called them, I would hope we'd be allowed to do an out-of-office punch to compensate them for that 15 minutes, whatever but I can't see that happening, so. But anyway, any questions? My department? All right, thank you.
Thanks, Dan.
Hello. For secondary roads in this situation, it is just for work hours on a mobile device when they're out in the field for projects. Contractors and material that's coming onto the project site is usually through emails, and so that's where they're asking for that request. It's also in our union contract that all overtime has to be pre-approved, so that would negate them from doing any work on that mobile device outside of work hours without a approval first. So I have no concerns on that. So, thank you.
Thank you.
So I am working on a policy specifically about using your cell phone off hours and addressing your email. So hopefully I'll be able to bring that back next week. And then we can look at that and then decide about the exceptions.
Sure. All right, great.
Okay,
Thank you, Melissa. Appreciate it.
thank you.
All right, item 10 from County Auditor Michelle Scaff. Item 1 is canvass the Farmers and Garrettson Drainage District elections held on Saturday, January 17th.
Okay, these should be pretty short items, so I'll just present them from here. We had a election which is held for farmers in Garrettson, and I have the abstract of votes and the certificates for signature. I'll just pass these down. They both, individual Randy Hunt won the election for both farmers and Garrettson, and so we'll need signatures on those certificates.
Okay.
And those will just need to be received.
All right, I would move to receive.
Second.
Motion by Nelson, seconded by Dietrich. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Carries 4-0. All right, and then item 2, also from the county auditor, is to canvass the McCandles, Sand Hill, Lakeport, and Little Sioux Drainage District elections held on Tuesday, January 20th.
Okay, and this was held by Monona County, and these are their forms that they need us to have our board sign, since some of those drainage ditches run through our county. I'm not sure if this has been through the board in the past, but since it did require signatures, I asked that this be presented for signature. And I think these were already passed down, so they just need to be received.
All right. I would move to receive.
Second.
Motion by Nelson, seconded by Dietrich. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Passes 4-0. I just got to pass it back. I'm on one side. All right, item 11. From Ryan Erickson, budget review discussion for FY '27. Item A is county library. We are going to table the county library for tonight. We were reached out to by the treasurer of the county library yesterday. They have some inaccuracies in their budget that stem around the rent and utilities. They rent that building from the city of Mobile, and some of the numbers that they had gotten from the city are inaccurate. And so they had asked for us to table that until they had time to come and present their budget with accurate information. So go ahead.
I'll move to table it.
Okay, second. Motion by Dietrich, seconded by Nelson. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Carries 4-0. Item B is civil service, and this is out of the general basic.
Yeah, this one is mandated by Iowa code. It is 0.5% of the sworn deputy wages. And so that calculated out to be about $18,300, and the budget was emailed in by Lisa Wilson, I think was her name. And so that's, really, in a sense, it's mandated by code, and it is what it is.
Okay. Well, I would move to receive.
Second.
Motion by Nelson, seconded by Dietrich. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Passes 4-0. Item C, secondary road fund.
And I would guess I will defer, or if Laura wants to come up and, present for the secondary roads.
Item 1 is improvement requests.
I have 2 positions that the employees who fill those positions are regularly working beyond what I would consider most of their job throughout the days. So I was curious and hopeful to see that those positions be increased in, title, I guess. And so with that, slight pay increase in those positions. The first one is, and other departments have like a clerk 3 position. We don't in secondary roads, so it would just be moving the clerk 2 to a clerk 3. And then we also don't have a senior engineering technician, and our most, experienced person in that works well outside of what a certified engineering technician 2 is described as. These are union positions. I don't know how that works.
I see Melissa.
And I was gonna ask if Melissa would come up and if I can ask that this fiscal year, or if there is a time that I need to appropriately ask that.
Sure.
So with the positions that are already created in the contract, like the clerk 2 to the clerk 3, then we would just talk to the union and see, they would look at the new job description and see if they agree, with the increase in responsibilities and pay. With the senior technician, I would say that is a new position, which would need to be bargained. So that one might be a little different. We'd have to go outside of the contract, get an MOU, which we've done before. We did that for juvenile detention. And then also bargain the wages for that position. So the clerk 3 is already bargained for, but that senior technician would not be.
Okay.
So on this particular one.
And you want to reclassify 2 positions from clerk 2 to clerk 3, or just 1?
I would then remove, or keep the clerk 2 position unfilled. What do you guys usually do when that's ever happened in the past? Sorry.
No, that's okay.
Sorry.
So if, what we would do then is authorize the clerk 3, deauthorize the clerk 2. So that would just be the 1 position changed.
Thank you. And then I have 2 individuals in the certified engineering technician 2 position, and so we would just decertify 1 or unfill 1 and then create the senior engineering technician.
And say that again, you would promote one of them to this, and then the
Yeah.
other one would just stay as a
Yeah.
tech 2.
And just as a backup, so this is purely for budgetary purposes at this time. So in the future, we need to have the actual action items to authorize the position and deauthorize it, so it's clear in our paper trail.
Yep.
Do most people put that in these reports then, that I submitted an improvement request? I would write that in there. Is that how you would do that then? I don't know.
You would just work with HR to
Okay.
create those items in the future for the board to actually authorize and deauthorize the actual positions. Right now, this is budgetary purposes
Yep.
that is gonna be, to be applied within the budget
Yep.
of those funds.
Yeah, we can receive this, but that doesn't mean that we're actually creating the position tonight. Yeah.
Correct.
And the current budget does not include these numbers as part of the budget, so I would have to, add them in.
Okay.
We haven't really had discussion yet on the order of improvement requests. So I don't know if we want to be, if we want to consider them within each budget or at the end, since they're additions to the current numbers.
Yeah, and I first saw us having a improvement request kind of day like we did last year, where we just had every department come with just their improvement requests.
So just as a reference of what we've done in the past is we do embed the numbers within the budget. So the maximum scenario includes all of the improvement requests unless you were to remove them when they're presented. Last year when we did it, you had discussed all of those improvement requests early on, but then you decided to make a decision on them later in the budgets where they came back, and then you made the decision of which ones would be improved.
Okay.
But we did have the numbers included in the budget so that when that mailer goes out in March, those numbers are in there that you can always cut it back, but you can never add it back.
So this year, it's not in there yet, Brian?
Well, this one, because it's before the other budgets, I didn't have time to put it
Oh, okay.
in. For next week, I will get, I know
Okay.
Michelle and the auditor has an improvement request. I will have it in with it.
Okay.
And so then at that time, we would do it department by department. But unfortunately, with the timing, payroll was very late this year, and I wanted to try and get secondary roads earlier than the other departments due to the equipment, and I just wanted to get this budget discussed about.
But it's a difference of 22,000, so it's not like it's, a lot of dollars. to
Well, to be consistent, we should probably add it if the rest of them
Yeah.
are already in.
No, for sure. Yeah.
And actually, what is, the transfer from rural basic is what would impact the levy. Because, you know, secondary roads budget is, you know, different than, because if this is improved, that goes into her budget, and it wouldn't necessarily increase or decrease the levy unless you, as a board, decided to increase the amount transferred in from rural basic.
Any other questions for Laura regarding this improvement request? I would move to receive.
Second.
Motion by Nelson, seconded by Ung. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Carries 4-0. Next is roadside management, and this is from the Rural Basic Fund.
The roadside management budget serves one full-time employee for half of the year. It's the weed commissioner position. And then the rest of the time, this employee works for secondary roads. The proposed budget has minor increases for employee wages and benefits. There is a $2,000 increase on our chemical and herbicide budget. That's more or less just to make sure that if there's cost increase on those products, that we can afford them. And if there isn't an increase, we can always use more product, especially with wet last year. I assume it's going to be a great weed year this year. Also on that budget is a request to replace the main piece of equipment for that position, and that is our sprayer truck. It is a 2002 truck. It has 183,739 miles on it. Approximately 50,000 miles ago, a new engine was put in it. And I'm just, you know, if I look at a whole nother season, you know, I'm now probably over 200,000 miles on it, and eventually it needs to be replaced. So just trying to get some estimates together. I have a cost of $84,415 to replace that vehicle. That would be the vehicle plus the flatbed, and then putting the spray equipment on the back of that. And as you guys know, equipment and vehicles that we bought 20 years ago don't have as many safety features as they do now. I think that some safety features that is always on vehicles now would be great for this position. The driver is multitasking while going down the road. It's required. You can't stand still and spray. We would never get over every mile here. So I'd like you to please consider a new vehicle for that. I'd love a couple more vehicles for this. The brush cutter that's under this position is also needing replaced, but I felt that the vehicle that's used every single day that he's out and about was more important. So again, just if we can't do it this year, we do it next year. But also if we don't do it this year, then, you know, the brush cutter and things like that also get pushed back. So please consider it. The budget has been, you know, we've used that vehicle, I feel like, to its full potential. And we can't go, I don't think, many days during weed spraying seasons without it. So
Could you repeat the projected cost on
yeah,
that?
it was $84,415, and in the budget, you're going to see it. It's actually broke down. 2026 work truck chassis was estimated at $76,420, and then the Cry-Steel flatbed, again, just an example of what we would be using, was $7,995. That's on page 2 of 3 of the roadside budget pages that Ryan put together.
And one thing I'll have to know on this, it got entered into the CIP fund and we really haven't discussed any CIP items. And unfortunately, it's a vehicle, and I do not believe it can be used, debt can be used to purchase it.
Yep.
So
That's a
if we
new
do
change.
accept it as part of the budget, it would need to be moved into rural basic. Unless you want to use, like we did with emergency services, gaming.
But on the vehicles, I thought that you couldn't purchase, I thought if it was still an essential service, that you could do a vehicle on CIP.
That I'll have to double check on.
Because I think that was maybe the problem with emergency services, is that's not technically an essential service, whereas we're required to have the weed commissioner. So we might, I know there was a rule change with the vehicles, but do you remember that, Joshua? We discussed that, but I thought it was something that they viewed essential services and non-different on that vehicle thing, but maybe not.
I think it'd be good if Ryan would double check with the
Jason.
outside counsel on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think it goes back to the useful life of the equipment or, the vehicle, and there's a question about whether a vehicle lasts long enough to be considered that capital improvement.
Okay, we can double check on that and see what,
Oh, and the other thing is we haven't officially requested CIPs from any other department yet.
sure. Yep. Okay. I've seen the weed truck, it's very sad, and the brush cutter tractor is sad too, so I can say that they are both at the end of their useful life, most assuredly. Any other questions for Laura about the weed commissioner fund? I'll move to receive. Motion by Nelson, seconded by Ung. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Carries 4-0. Next is the secondary road fund. This is road basic and secondary roads. So, Laura, take it away.
I have some, I don't know, some, just different ways to present this information. I could move.
Move to receive.
Second.
Motion by Nelson, seconded by Dietrich. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries 4-0.
All right. First, I'll talk about our revenue that we use for secondary roads. Nearly 60% of the funding of secondary roads is by our road use taxes, so that's every time everyone pays at the pump. They're contributing to the secondary roads budget. Local option sales tax then covers 24% of the budget, and property taxes at about 15%. So that makes up quite a big chunk. There's some smaller items, within that, but that's about it. And then, in our expenditures, our budget, the big chunk of that is going to be maintenance of our roads. The maintenance and the equipment that it takes to maintain those roads add up to 74% of our expenditures. And rightfully so, we need to maintain those roads for the traveling public, so that they have safe roads to be on. This year in road construction, it's for the local budget, we'd be looking at HMA crack filling on Correctionville Road and D22. I like to keep the good roads, asphalt roads good, so we're gonna take care of the ones that are in pretty healthy condition first, while we're trying to take care of the worst ones, on bigger budget projects. On the local side, we would also try to replace 2 bridges. One would be U-155, and the other one is K-20. So U-155 is south on 325th Street, east of K-67, and then K-20 is on 180th Street, just east of Iowa 31. Both bridges were built in the 1950s. They service, on average 40 to 50 vehicles a day. And the U-155 is a large bridge. It's 129 feet long, but only 20 feet wide. And so obviously an increase in width. And then we have the K-20 bridge that is 66 feet long and only 16 feet wide, so that would definitely double in width. We talked about it a little bit previously in other meetings, but I thought I should reiterate our new equipment that we would be purchasing in fiscal year '27. And that list includes a motor grader, mechanics truck, skid steer and trailer, an engineering truck, a district tool truck, tandem trucks with trailers, and mowers. I guess it is an increase, a significant increase on this line item in the secondary road budget, but I feel like it's really due to the gravel road project and to keep the gravel road project going and to get it, to keep it on schedule. These purchases would definitely benefit that project. I also want to bring up that our parts and repairs that we've been doing recently, in just this half year that we've had a mechanic on staff, we are seeing that we are buying less parts, or we're spending less money on parts, and we're definitely spending less money on outside labor. But I also feel like, this new equipment budget is big this year, but definitely will go back to normal cost in the next years. So our buildings and grounds also was another area I'd like to focus a little bit of money on this next fiscal year. We have saved a lot of money in previous years on our buildings and grounds, and so if you're not spending it in some years, then other years you're going to be spending it. And so you're just going to see that we were able to find some money in our existing budget to do a little bit of amendment to take care of some pieces of, or buildings that were having roofs and ceilings fall in. And then next year, we were also just going to take care of some insulation in some buildings, roof another building, and things like that, just to take care of our buildings as they are aging, and they do cost money, but it's always worth the investment in your facilities. I have to say that I didn't put this budget together by myself. There was lots of people who helped. Ryan was a great help. And with that, I think that we have a healthy budget right now. We're getting a lot of things done. We're finding ways to save money on some purchases by buying bulk and seeking out other vendors that maybe other counties are using, that maybe have a little bit of cost savings. So it's not too different of a budget from last year, just moving money from one area to another. So I like colorful pictures, so. Not 36 pages of a budget, Ryan, but, so.
Brian likes comments.
Yeah. What questions do you have? What did you guys notice or haven't had a chance? But if you, I can come in at any time and talk more about very specific things within the budget. Anytime something pops up, which happens a lot in secondary roads, I'm constantly looking at where we can find money in a budget to take care of an emergency situation, so.
I'd just like to throw it out there too, just for anybody watching or listening, but the tax ask from Woodbury County is 1.8 million, and it's still, that's what it was last year. If Ryan explained that to me correctly, or correct me if I'm wrong, but it's a big budget, but 1.8 million, which is the same as last year, is the same as this year.
It's an actual minimum requirement based off of the valuation and the amount coming in from lost. There's a minimum required for, I would say, the local contribution to secondary roads budget. And based on that, last year was 1.8 million. This year, 1.8 million would also satisfy the minimum requirement. And we wouldn't need to go up from there.
Do we have any updates on the new equipment budget items from the last time we talked about them? Any more responses from vendors or thoughts on the models that were suggested?
We have one trailer completed. They're finishing painting the last of that because we purchased 3 of them this fiscal year that we're in right now. So we have not used that yet, so I don't know. Hopefully it'll be delivered next week and we can see how it works and see if that would be something that we wouldn't need. I'm really hopeful that we want them, and I'm really hopeful that we want that many of them. And then I do have quotes on a mechanic's truck, and that number seems to be pretty accurate. We're gonna start working on motor grader bids, putting together what we would want in a bid. That was discussed last week. Any specific question?
The increase in overtime.
I believe that when I was figuring what overtime would be, is there a specific one that I went up way?
What was 8%, 8.2%?
I usually just look at previous years' averages and just budget accordingly. So that would just be me protecting that. And I can see which one I increased more than normal. So for instance, some was for the maintenance employees, we budgeted last year like 10,000. But if you look back in previous years, we're spending on average 14,000. So I'd prefer us to budget 20, versus being short in an overtime budget line item. And hopefully we don't have to use any of the overtime budget, right?
There's a large increase in the tools, materials, supplies. Is that because of the mechanic?
Yes, and also, we are, last year, we borrowed a trailer and tools from Monona County to do some concrete patches, and I don't think we should make that a regular plan. We need to buy our own stuff, but it was nice to see that we had employees that were willing to do that work, that hadn't done that before. And so usually, we've been budgeting 50 to 60,000 every single year to do concrete patches throughout, where roads bust up. We spent 28,000 on just concrete and then did the work ourselves. So again, I'm finding cost savings in putting less into our concrete line item to repair roads and hopefully spending it on tools for that work. And then, yes, for the mechanic to have tools that help us keep saving on those items.
Was there issues borrowing Monona County's?
No, it was a great experience.
Why would we buy our own if we could just borrow theirs?
Because I think that we crunched it down into a very limited time frame. I'd prefer us to be able to, when we have an incident, just have our own things that we can go out and repair that road right away.
So it's not necessarily a set work schedule that you're working on with the patching?
No.
No.
We got into some pretty cold temperatures. Freezing
Sure.
temperatures is when we were patching.
Increase in lumber, I'm guessing that's the guys are gonna be doing some work on the buildings themselves.
So, yes, on the buildings, we, right now have our sand salt, at a lot of the shops exposed to the elements. I don't think that we should be letting that much moisture get on that mixture. And so this would be, buying lumber to build around some of them already have like a concrete bunker on 3 sides, so it would just be putting walls up and a simple little roof, on that, just to, again, protect that material from the elements. We did it in Pearson to see how it would work, and it looks really good up there, and
Yep.
I think the material is working a little bit better, so.
Yeah, if you recall, Supervisor Young, when we were out looking at the snow plows that day, they talked about, remember the salt chunk plugging in the spreader in the back of the truck? So by building a roof over it, we can eliminate some of that, right?
Yeah, that was the goal. So when Mark goes out in the snow plow,
I gotta move my own snow first. Sorry.
excuses.
And Louis laughing back there because he knows. He knows. Any other questions for Laura regarding the budget?
And obviously, I'm way ahead of everyone else, so I'll come back at any time if there's, as you get into the details of it, if there's more discussion.
Overall question for Ryan. When we use a local option for this budget, do we have to make up for that with tax revenue to meet the minimum levy, or no?
This local option, this is the portion that goes directly to secondary roads. There's the other portion that goes into our lost fund. So.
Right, yep, sorry, I was talking about the other 20%. So if we use some of that, like we have in the past, towards different roads projects, does that mean we're penalized in getting the full amount, or no?
No.
Okay.
It's just, if we use that 20%, you know, in the past, you've used it to like lower the debt service levy or, you know, then there's other projects that have come through, but
Okay. I would move to receive.
Second.
Motion by Nelson, seconded by Dietrich. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Passes 4-0. Up next, last, I guess, on the budget discussion, item 4 is the gravel project.
Yes. Trying to remember where I put it. The gravel road project, we have completed its 4th year. It was a 10-year project. And with that, we are not near halfway to our halfway point. And we wouldn't get to our halfway point over this next year if we couldn't buy the equipment that we are buying. And so the project will be right on track. Once again, after this next season, we pushed really hard this last year. Any day that we could be hauling, we were hauling. And so with that,
But in fairness to the guys, the weather has not been adequate for the first several years
no,
of this project because it's been
100%.
so dry and the ground's been so hard that
right?
they haven't been able to work the rock in at the rate that they could normally, so.
And they had a flood to recover through. So, I mean, there's
Yep.
just been so many things. And so that's why I just feel like, I feel like we're going to be right on where we need to be. We'll be purchasing gravel with the funds that are budgeted for this project. And I just don't know where Woodbury County secondary roads would be at without the investment how many years ago. It's you can't even picture it. I don't know. You guys maybe can. You maybe have
We weren't a part of it, that was,
a better
the
memory
only
than
one
I
left
do
that was here was
on that,
Matthew,
but
so.
it's a great investment and it will pay dividends and it's exciting to have it here. So yeah.
and I'll just point out that even though it shows no revenue, the revenue came in the proceeds of the debt, you know, in like 6-7 years ago.
It looks like the only quadrant or area of the county that hasn't seen any yet is kind of north of 20, and then like from Mobile west or kind of east of Mobile west, will they start to see some of that new rock this year?
Yeah, we just haven't covered 190 miles out of the almost 800 miles that was on this list. And
Yep.
so, yeah, I'm hopeful, again, with truck and trailer, if in a hard push without all that equipment, we were able, you know, to hit 140 miles, then maybe finally we'll get to that 190. It'll be hard. It'll take a lot of, you know, dedicated time to it, but I'm hopeful that, you know, we can get to that.
Well, I know in the areas where that rock has been going, you know, especially you get in that Correctionville, Anthon, Odo, kind of Pearson area where the rock's been there for 4 years now, that the number of complaints that I've had has just fallen off as far as the road condition from that area. So, and I drive a lot of those roads too, in my travels daily, and it's improved greatly. Louis, hopefully you think so. Yep, we got a thumbs up over here.
There's definitely a huge improvement, and it's, give it more time, and it's nice to see the rock out there. It's like because the moisture is working in and starting to shape up into pretty nice roads.
Actually, here's the map.
Oh, okay, yep.
Yeah, it's been years since I've heard the words worthless blow sand. I used to hear that all the time. But that was just more of a function of there not being enough of a, the base was degraded.
Yep.
And so that's what came up.
I wonder if you remember, it was in the journal, Matthew, but I had, my father came here with a bill one time.
Yes,
For his
I
road. Do you remember that?
I do.
We've come a
Yep.
long way since then. That's a journal story somewhere. I should actually dig that up.
It's easier to keep your vehicles cleaned out, that low stuff's gone.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yep. There
you
That's
go.
what they really care about.
I would move to receive.
Second.
Motion by Nelson, seconded by Ung. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Carries 4-0. Thank you, Laura. Appreciate it. Let's see here. Item 12 is reports on committee meetings. Kent, anything? Okay.
Yes. Yes, I have one. It's just over the minor subdivision report from zoning department. Over the David and Kim Reardon subdivision. It's 7.92 acres under AG preservation near the Union Township. And so it looks like it's been approved by the county engineer. And the paperwork has been filled out and submitted for a field entrance to access the farm. And that's all I have to share with you.
Thank you, Kent. Dave, you have anything? Not even on the landfill?
Nothing on, yeah, I should probably get out there, because I think they, replaced the scale.
Okay.
All right.
Matthew, you got anything? I don't either. So we'll go on to item 13, citizen concerns.
I didn't come here with any concerns, but they come up last night,
Oh, Laura, would you come up to the microphone and speak, please?
and this is just shooting from the hip real quick. The news last night, Woodbury County is the largest growing cancer in the country report. And are we going to be proactive in doing studies or anything to why we are so bad throughout our county? And that's just a small, that just come up the other night, and that it is a concern. We all got people saying concern. So if there's any way to do a study or help support it or move forward into a better direction, would be super.
So on Thursday
Yep.
at 9 o'clock at Unity Point, St. Luke's Junior Island, I know Siouxland District Health is having their 99 county cancer project, where they've been basically doing exactly what you said, kind of doing some studies on Woodbury
Yep.
County, and going to be relaying the results back from that. So I might have something for you next week, Louis. How's that sound?
Okay, I just, like I said, from last night news, and I didn't plan on coming here with anything, but.
No,
it
it's,
was
I told my wife I'm getting tired of going to cancer fundraisers.
I get
You
it.
know, and
I
I
get
mean, it's just,
And
it's
then
a
when we
sad thing.
break the record to being the worst, that's not good for us for bringing people into the community. Because I
Yeah.
know some people that just moved in, and I heard that, I said, really? They were just kind of like, geez, we just moved here and raising a family, so just a concern. Thought I'd mention.
would you say his name or say your name for the record, please?
Louis Byers,
Thank you.
Pearson, Iowa.
Thank you. Any other citizen concerns? Item 14 is board concerns. Okay, Dave? I would just like to report that I passed my cybersecurity training with 100%. I know absolutely everything there is to know about deep fakes and AI. Oh, yeah.
Wick is gonna be fishing you now.
Yep. Cyber criminals don't stand a chance.
Target on his back now.
Yeah, they don't call me Mark Cybersecurity Nelson for nothing. And actually, Michelle, I had a friend from South Dakota. They're in a rural county up there. They ranch up there. Their auditor was scammed for a $800,000 bill. And I guess that she reached out to me a couple weeks ago to tell me this, but that internet scammers are actually watching county or city council meetings, and they're looking at the agenda packets, and they're actually replicating bills that the county normally sees from typical vendors, but then they change the money where it's to be delivered, and that's what happened. So don't,
Well, we'll definitely keep an eye out for that type of activity, but just for your own reference, for Woodbury County, we have been attempted scams for payroll where we've received direct deposit requests to change banking accounts on employees, which has been caught because we have some different things in practice where, if one thing doesn't happen, then we don't do number two. And
Sure.
so, we've got some pretty vigilant staff, and we've caught a few things with payroll and accounts payable.
Sure.
So we'll keep a vigilant lookout.
all right.